my March wrap-up and April TBR. Now in the month of March I read 4 books and most of the 5th book that I finished on April 1st, so I'm going to go ahead and include that in this wrap-up. And I also read 3 graphic novels. So the first book I read in March was Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the 2nd book in the Infernal Devices series, so I'm not really going to tell you what it's about. It is still in the Shadowhunter world, just like the Mortal Instruments. And I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. So this book, you get a little more backstory on Tessa and some of the other characters, which was really nice. And Will doesn't sound like Jace anymore at all, which is really nice. And there's action, of course, because it's Shadowhunters, so there's always action. I don't really know what else to say because it's the 2nd book in the series and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. I really like that Jim is on the cover of this. Although I wish his hair was a little more silver, like his eyes are silver, but his hair is not really as silver as I had pictured it. Anyway, 5 out of 5 stars. I'm sorry, I'm just excited. I don't really know what to say about these books, just that I really love them. There's action, and there's romance, and there's just shadow hunting, so demons and blood and weapons and love and turmoil and all that good stuff. The next book I read because I was going to go to a convention near me called EvilCon, and I was going to see an author that I already had 2 of his books that I purchased at a previous EvilCon, but I hadn't read yet, so I had to read them. The first book is Vagabonds, and this is by Robert Midget. I think that's how you say his name. I forgot to ask him. But I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. He wrote this when he was 15. He started writing this when he was 13 and he finished it when he was 15. And I thought it was a good effort. 3 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. There were some times where like it would jump in the timeline and it was a little confusing because sometimes it would jump like years and you wouldn't know anything that happened in that whole period, which was a little disorienting. But this is about a planet that humans created, kind of. I don't know if they created the planet, but they created the topography of the world, and they created the beings for this planet and the inhabitants, and they created some of the animals that are on this planet as well. And they taught them our languages, taught them our history, and this is 500 years later after the planet was created, and they are invading this planet. Humans are invading this planet and killing like all the citizens on this planet, and they have no idea why. And that is where the book starts. The one thing that I had with this that kind of put down the star rating was that it goes through several different people's perspectives, and each chapter is a different perspective. But sometimes going from one perspective to another, it would jump like years, and you would have no basis for what went on during that lost period from between the characters. So it was a little disorienting. There's a lot of cursing in this, so if you're thinking that because he was a 15-year-old author that young kids might be able to read this, it's kind of like a young adult because they're all like 15, 17. There's very harsh language, there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of killing, and so it is for very mature teenagers, possibly. And then I read Praxis, which is book 2 in the Vagabond series, and I enjoyed this one a lot more. I would give this a 4 or 3.5 out of 5 stars. This is not on Goodreads right now, and I don't know why. So I can't really rate it on there. I'm going to have to see what I can do to actually add it onto Goodreads or something so I could rate it on there. But this is about after the war on that planet. So this is, I think the end of Vagabonds is like 15 years after the war, but the war lasted for several years. So I'm not sure how much longer this is after Vagabonds. I think it's like 20 or something years after where Vagabond starts. I enjoyed this one a lot more. There's not as much cursing in it, but it is very vulgar. So they are more adult, and there's more sexual aspects in this one than there were in Vagabonds. But there's still the same amount of like death and killing and all that stuff, because that's what these books are about. They're about war. So this is another war, and I'm not really going to talk much about it because I don't want to give away too much of Vagabonds. So I really enjoy how this author is evolving, and this is only his second book. I'm not sure how old he is now, but I do enjoy how he is progressing as an author, and I did get to talk to him. He is working on book 3, and he has ideas for several possible novellas or spin-off books for this series. So I'm excited to see what this author has to offer in our future. Next is the graphic novels that I read. And I read the first 3 volumes in the Sunstone series comics. I'm not sure. I'm not going to try to say this author's name because he is... I don't remember where he's from, but I cannot say his name. He's also the artist who did the Witchblade comics. I think there's 4 out right now, so I haven't read the 4th one. And there's usually one is released in the spring, so the 4th one was, I believe, just released recently. And it's like one's in the spring and one's in the fall is how they've been being released. So there's possibly another one. I know they mentioned a 5th trade in like the 2nd or 3rd one of these, so I think there's going to be a 5th one out as well. This comic is about BDSM and the relationships in that type of partnership. She is a dom and she is a sub, and the whole story is about how they got together and how their relationship works and how the whole thing works. So book 1 is essentially about how they got together and like how they started being BDSM partners. And I really enjoyed this one because they actually talk about the characters needing to go to the bathroom, which not very many books do that. And then in book 2, they give a little more of a backstory on how the characters got into this kind of thing. And they talk about periods in this one. So guys, be a little wary because they talk about periods in this, which as a girl I thought was really cool. And then in book 3, they talk about like the stereotypes that you get with BDSM and how you can't really just look up pictures online because you're going to get the wrong idea. And before any of you ask, I'm not into this kind of thing. I just found it interesting. And we got these at a Comic-Con because they were damaged. We got them for $1 each. So me and my boyfriend figured that we would try them out. He's the one that actually bought them. And it's not just all like sexy times, like I said. There's like bodily functions in there and real life people. They have like real lives outside of just sexual fantasies. So I really enjoyed these. It's a solid 4-star series for me. I rated each of these 4 stars. And I really want to get book 4. I'd like to repurchase book 1 because books 2 and 3 just have a little bit of cover damage, like it's got a creased cover. But book 1 See if I can find a page that's safe to show. Here, this one's safe. It's the bathroom scene. You see up there how it's all ripped on the top? I don't know if you can tell, but like soda or coffee was spilled on this. It was some sort of like brown sticky, and almost all the pages were stuck together. I used a hairdryer to get them apart, so the book's kind of poofy. But it was some sort of like brown sticky substance. And see, they're being real people. It's not just about the sexy times. So I'm probably going to repurchase book 1 at some point. 2 and 3 are in okay condition. Like I said, it was just an issue with the bends in the cover, the creases in the cover. And I'd really like to get into book 4, but I might wait closer to when I believe book 5 should be released sometime in the fall, so I might wait closer to when book 5 is released to pick up book 4. Then I picked up Irish Blessings, Toasts, and Traditions. This is a Barnes & Noble thing that I don't know if it has an actual author. It's edited by Jason S. Roberts, so there's no real author on this. And this is the one that I ended up finishing on April 1st. I picked it up on St. Patrick's Day because I wanted to read this on St. Patrick's Day, and I ended up having like that much left, so there was hardly anything left, but I wanted to make sure to finish Passenger before the end of the month, so I ended up picking this book up and setting this one down. So, Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. I rated this a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy time travel books, which this is about. I don't know, it's such a different take on time travel than anything that I've seen previously. It has a little bit of aspects from some time travel things that I've seen, but I really loved how this was executed. There wasn't really anything that made me think that like this just could not happen. I'm really looking forward to the second book in the series. There's so many questions that were left unanswered. It left at a bit of a cliffhanger, but with enough of an ending for you not to go, oh my god, I'm dying, kind of thing. So that was really nice. I'm really hoping that in the next one she will give us a little bit more information on how they're time traveling, because that wasn't really explained in this. It was just they're born time travelers. Oh no, I just realized something about this book. I don't know if you can see that curling there, but the matte covering is peeling off. That's so weird. It's like this smooth satin finish is just peeling off of the paper for the cover. Okay, 5 out of 5 stars for the reading. 3 out of 5 stars for whatever the cover is made out of. I'm done talking about that. I'm disappointed. Okay, on to the last book, which was the Irish Blessings, Toasts, and Traditions. I rated this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I finished it on April 1st, and I had originally purchased it back in 2010, so this has been on my shelf for a while. I didn't really understand a lot of the stuff in this book. Maybe if I was actually like born or raised in Ireland or had visited there, there's a lot of terminology that is completely lost on me, being a kind of know-nothing American whenever it comes to Irish terminology. So there was a lot of stuff that went over my head. I really like the limericks that they have. My favorite part were the tales, legends, sayings, jokes, and limericks, which is like the second half of the book. The first half has the blessings, toasts, traditions, and superstitions. I didn't really like the traditions or superstitions at all. I really liked the tales and legends. There is one of the sayings that I'm going to read to you guys because it was really funny. Actually, it was in the Jokes and Limericks. Definition of an Irish husband. He hasn't kissed his wife for 20 years, but he will kill any man who does. And in the sayings, there is, it's as foolish to let a fool kiss you as it is to let a kiss fool you. So those are just a couple little things in this. Like I said, it was a 3 out of 5 stars. I wasn't too happy with it. Part of it was because it used a lot of terminology that I had no way of understanding without looking it up, and there's no glossary or anything for terms in this, and that would have really helped, and I think it would have bumped up the rating a little bit for me if it had that. So that is my March wrap-up. Now for my April TBR. So in the month of April, since I finished Clockwork Prince, of course the next book I'm going to read is Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. And I think I'm probably just going to read one of these a month because I really wanted to read Lady Midnight, but I found out from Emma Books that it's best if you read the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy before you go into Lady Midnight, and that's not supposed to be released until sometime in November. So I think I'm probably just going to read one Cassandra Clare book a month until that comes out, which is still only going to put me to, let's see, April, May, June, July, August. So I'm still going to have a couple of months to wait until the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy comes out before I get to read Lady Midnight. So I think I'm going to string these out to one book a month before I finish these series up. But I've already started reading this, and I'm already that far in, and I'm really enjoying this one so far as well. I really want to take the sticker off. Why is it covering her up? And I bought this book used, and I don't know if you can see, like, a dog chewed on it, I think, before I got it. That's what I get for ordering used books online. Then, I hope this book really doesn't just blind the camera, and I'm sorry if it does. There, I think I'm holding it right. Half Bad by Sally Green. Benjamin over at Benjamin of Tomes does a reading group on Instagram called Reading with Ben. I think that's what it's called. And they are reading the Half Bad trilogy this month. And I have Half Bad, and I've had it since May of 2014. So I've had this book for almost 2 years, and I still haven't read it yet. I'm not going to purchase books 2 and 3 until I've read this. But if I do enjoy this, then those 2 are probably going to be going on my TBR as well. Then I have some graphic novels that I would possibly like to read. That is The Wicked and the Divine. I have volumes 1 and 2. Again, we got these damaged for $1 each at the Comic-Con that we went to. And I've heard some mixed reviews on this. My boyfriend picked these up. And I heard that the first one was kind of confusing, so I'm hoping that since we also have the second one, that I can jump right into it and it will help ease out some of the confusion if I am confused after reading the first one. That is my number 1 choice. I also have another choice, but I'll show you. My boyfriend also picked up Saga volumes 2, 4, and 5 for $2, $3, and $3 because they were also considered damaged, and I'm not exactly sure why. Like, there's nothing on here at all. I think the corner is a little squished, and that is it. And that's how all of them are. But if I go into this, I will have to purchase book 3, and the reason why he went ahead and got these was because his sister had gotten him book 1 and we went ahead and read it, but neither of us really cared for it too much. So whenever he found these on sale saying that they were damaged for like $2 and $3 each, he went ahead and picked them up so we could try to continue on with the series and see if we liked it more as the story went on. But I would have to pick up book 3 to be able to start reading these. So that is my March wrap-up and my April TBR. If you have any suggestions for books that you would like to see me read, or books that you think that I should read, then please feel free to let me know. And I will see you next time. Bye!